Kutsafalo Amen from Office of Accountant General.
Good afternoon. My name is Janet Magana from Office of the Auditor General.
Good afternoon. My name is Naomi Mopi, Office of the Auditor General.
And my name is Amanda Mulifi, Technical Advisor to the PAC.
Thank you so much. Lukai Pole Alaba DCEC, yes.
Thank you, Honorable Members. Kibidua Botlali Makakenene, the Director General, Directorate on Corruption and Economic Crime. Finally, my team.
Good afternoon. Kibidua Lefuko Bagula, Controller of Accounts.
Thank you so much. Normally, the way we proceed by way of first you taking oath, and then you'll present the executive summary. County Officer, can you please? You can choose to use the Bible, or if you want to use affirmation.
I'll use the Bible, sir.
Thank you very much. You stand up and put your left hand on the Bible and raise up your right hand.
I, Botlali Makakenene,
Swear by Almighty God
swear by Almighty God
that the evidence I shall give before this Committee of Parliament
that the evidence I shall give before this Committee of Parliament
shall be the truth,
shall be the truth,
the whole truth,
and
nothing else but the truth.
and nothing else but the truth.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Finance Controller, with the result, Bibia. Me ba ka itse ke mtetso e mela go tshwanetseng Ansala morago I
Lefuko Bagula,
swear by the Almighty God
swear by Almighty God
that the evidence I shall give
that the evidence I shall give
before this Committee of Parliament
before this Committee of Parliament
shall be the truth,
shall be the truth,
the whole truth,
the whole truth,
and nothing else but the truth.
and nothing else but the truth.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Ke a leboga.
Era, thank you.
Thank you.
Is it Makula or Bakula?
Bagula.
Normally, the way we proceed, we would ask the accounting officer to give us the executive summary, and the members of parliament shall engage after.
Thank you very much, Chairperson and honorable members. Let me immensely thank you and your esteemed committee, sir, for this opportunity to present the books of accounts for the Directorate on Corruption and Economic Crime for the financial year that ended on the 31st of March 2022. I'll proceed to give just a synopsis of the mandate of the DCEC, our achievements, our challenges, and our initiatives or a way forward. Well, the DCEC was established as a specialized anti-corruption agency through the Corruption and Economic Crime Act. The Act makes comprehensive provision for the prevention of corruption, and it also confers power on the Directorate to investigate suspected cases of corruption and economic crime. Well, the Directorate fulfills this mandate by utilizing a three-pronged strategy on corruption. We do what we call the corruption prevention, public education, as well as investigation. We investigate allegations of corruption in Botswana and any contravention of fiscal and revenue laws. As part of corruption prevention, we examine practices and procedures of public bodies in order to facilitate the identification of corrupt practices and recommend remedial measures to address such corrupt practices. We also provide advice as part of our prevention or preventive exercises. We also provide advice to heads of public bodies with regards to how occurrence of corrupt practices can be reduced, thereby creating transparent and accountable systems. As such, we have advocated for the establishment of anti-corruption units in all ministries. Anti-corruption units, it is our earnest belief that they play a pivotal role in reinforcing the government's anti-corruption agenda. As part of the broader governance reform initiatives, the anti-corruption units, they contribute to investigation, prevention, and enforcement of anti-corruption policies. To date, we have at least 17 ACUs, or anti-corruption units, that have been established in the different MDAs. With regards to our education strategies or campaigns, we educate the public on the negative impact that corruption has on the society. We educate, we enlist, and we foster public support in combating corruption. We are targeting the different sectors of our society via different programs. For instance, at lower primary school, we have what we call Maruri Mascot. This is a campaign program that is targeting the primary school pupils. We have others like anti-corruption clubs that target secondary school students. We also have scheduled workshops and presentations that target office holders, both private and public bodies. Currently, where we are now, honorable members, is that we are a public office, and accordingly, the provisions of the Public Service Act applies to us. An issue that I will touch on with regards to the ongoing review of the Corruption and Economic Crime Act. And on the regional and international front, we have ratified and acceded to various conventions and instruments, and these include the SADC Convention Against Corruption, the AU Convention on Prevention and Combating Corruption, as well as the United Nations Convention Against Corruption. Governance ratings, Mr. Chairman, I'm not going to beat about the bush. It is a fact that Botswana, we were once hailed as the least corrupt country in Africa, as one of the least corrupt countries in the world. But of late, we've seen a decline in our ratings and rankings. And if you refer to the Transparency International report that was released in 2024, the Corruption Perception Index results with Botswana being ranked as the third least corrupt country in Africa. The third least corrupt country in Africa. Our rating is at 57 points. That is 57 points out of 100, which is a decline from the previous ratings by 2 points. Whereas internationally, we are now ranked as the 43rd least corrupt country in the world, and we've dropped 4 places compared to the previous ratings. Our concern, Mr. Chairman, is, as the DCEC, is that our decline is attributable to the inadequacy of anti-corruption mechanisms, the lack of accountability, the lack of the national anti-corruption policy, among others. So, honorable members will be aware that the period that we are referring to, or the period that we are looking into, was a period during which the DCEC was undergoing a rough patch. There was a lot of instability within the Directorate's leadership. As such, my main focus, when I assumed office, was to ensure that we stabilize the institution, we develop a roadmap focused on building a formidable team with a view to improve accountability and good governance in Botswana through the adoption of a national anti-corruption policy that we are currently resuscitating and looking into. And part of my roadmap is focusing on lifestyle audits as a strategy to uncover concealed corrupt practices and ill-gotten gains. This is consistent with the provisions of Section 34 of my Act, the Corruption and Economic Crime Act, on the possession of unexplained property or living beyond means. Noting that traditional forms of bribery, Mr. Chairman and your esteemed committee, they have become increasingly difficult to trace. And the accumulation of unaccounted wealth or living beyond one's means has therefore emerged as a glaring indicator for potential illicit activities. So public officials and individuals in positions of power who cannot justify their lifestyle in relation to their known sources of income are now investigated through this strategy. And I've also mentioned that we are currently reviewing the Corruption and Economic Crime Act. The objective of this review is to address the deficiencies identified in the implementation of the Act. Some of the key issues that will be addressed in the review include the independence of the DCEC, the security of tenure of the Director General of that office, as well as enhanced penalties for corruption and related offences. And the part of the Act, or the review of the Act, is also envisaged to address the public perception of political interference and or influence, which has been perpetuated by the removal of Director Generals and Deputy Director Generals in the past 5 years. So this obviously has regrettably caused instability in the institution. That's a fact. And it has disrupted the strategic operations, project implementation, and the performance of the Directorate itself. So the impact of the lack of the legal protection of the tenure of the Director General is an enduring challenge, which has also contributed adversely to the decline in Botswana's anti-corruption and governance ratings. It would be remiss of me, honorable members, not to share the challenges that we are facing, or at least to just share with you the statistical information that we have of what we are doing. Just to share, between January and December 2024, we have received around 687 allegations of corruption. And out of the 687 reports received, 238 matters were classified for investigation, which relates to 35% of those reports, while the rest of the reports were either further reports to existing investigation cases or were referred to other institutions for appropriate action. We've realized an exponential increase of reports immediately after our general elections, and we believe that we need to ensure that we keep the momentum, ensure that we are responsive to these reports that we receive. The current caseload as at 31st December 2024 stood at 1,603 investigation cases. We have disposed so far 350 cases, comprising 62 that were sent to the DPP for possible prosecution, while 288 were closed internally by us due to various reasons, including insufficient evidence. The challenge that I would just like to share with honorable members is that of financial resourcing. One of our greatest challenges, we have inadequate budget. We have not experienced any exponential increase in our budget. The increase only usually caters for inflations and price increases, as well as for our annual salary adjustments. Usually out of our budget, out of our total budget, the PE or salaries, you would find that the expenditure of salaries and PEs is around 75%. And as such, it means it leaves us with only about 17% as part of the budget for our operations, because the 8% would be catering for service charges as well as other minor issues. One more challenge that I would just like to share is the issue of manpower or human capital. It is important to note that there has been no manpower growth within the DCEC for several years due to the government-wide moratorium on the creation of new posts. This obviously has resulted in structural gaps, particularly in the regional offices, where we end up overburdening the headquarters because of the lack of human resource. With regards to one major challenge that I would just like to share, and I'm creating an opportunity for me to be grilled later on, is the challenge of leakage of information. While we note, Mr. Chairman, that we handle cases of public interest and concern, this has been a worrying trend for us, as confidentiality is crucial when it comes to investigation or effective mandate of our execution. It is, however, worth highlighting that since I assumed office, 2023, Mr. Chairman, the leakage of confidential information has reduced significantly. Only sporadically appears in the media, as we've seen in the previous few weeks. Because we have come up with strategies, we have set up structures to deal with the issues of leakage of information. We're also working on strengthening internal control mechanisms to guard against these occurrences. Mr. Chairman, before I conclude, I would just like to share that corruption remains a persistent challenge in various sectors of the public service, undermining the effective functioning of ministries, departments, and agencies that are tasked with serving the nation. In the public sector institutions, for instance, procurement has become a leading source of corruption, often involving inflated prices, bid rigging, and the misappropriation of public funds. These corrupt practices not only drain state resources, but also hinders the delivery of essential services to the public. Despite the efforts made by various agencies to strengthen the procurement system, challenges still persist in enforcing compliance with established procedures. Furthermore, procurement-related corruption is exacerbated by factors such as weak internal controls, lack of capacity among personnel, and insufficient training on anti-corruption mechanisms or practices. These factors contribute to a culture, we refer to it as a culture of impunity, where those engaged in corrupt practices are rarely held accountable. As a result, ministries, departments, and agencies, they continue to grapple with inefficiencies, they continue to grapple with delays and the erosion of public trust. In conclusion, Mr. Chairman, and the esteemed committee, it is the desire of the Directorate to achieve a corruption-free Botswana. It is our considered view that existing challenges, if prioritized and systematically addressed, will catalyze our ongoing efforts to fashion a strong and independent anti-corruption institution that will be effective in eradicating corruption. While we are cognizant of the fact that financial resources alone do not eradicate challenges, there are complementary efforts that will be undertaken concurrently, such as enhanced stakeholder coordination and cooperation to promote collective responsibility and accountability. I submit to you, sir, and thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much for your presentation. It's now time for members of parliament to engage. Honorable Kikhonerile.
Thank you, Chairperson Raleboha, Director General and team. you are investigating alleged corruption, and Botswana's ranking more corruption in Tseawa. The DCEC went through an instability period. You are striving for stability, correcting the wrongs of the past by being responsive and keeping momentum. Let's hear you being responsive and keeping momentum. Director General, do you, within DCEC, have a docket number 371/2024 involving a senior DIS officer?
Thank you, Honorable Member. Under normal circumstances, I would refer to my act, Section 44 of the Corruption and Economic Crime Act, that prohibits me from sharing confidential information with yourselves. But I would like to state here, Honorable Member, that we do not have a docket 371 of 2024.
Are you investigating a senior DIS officer who has built a house in Tlokwe worth 1.7 million and in Moshane worth 1.9 million using DIS operational funds? If so, how far is the case, and when are you handing it over for DPP for prosecution?
Thank you, sir. Unfortunately, I can neither deny nor confirm that I'm currently seized with an investigation of that nature. My act prohibits me from disclosing such. Thank you.
Director General, I take it that it's a confirmation. Director General, there is an Air Botswana case of accounting officers involving 3 aircrafts. E-175, still on the ground for the past 9 months. And 2 E-145s, saying they've been stuck in Namibia. Is your office aware? And has any of the aircrafts been utilized by Air Botswana recently? And what action is your office taking?
Thank you, Honorable Member. Unfortunately, we are referring the question to somebody who's not responsible for Botswana. Your question highlighting whether the aircrafts that have been grounded, whether they're being used, that is not...
Are you investigating the case? Do you have the case of that nature within your office?
Account officer, you're not responsible for Air Botswana.
Yes.
But he's asking about corruption, and insofar as corruption is concerned, you deal with all institutions, I guess.
Yes.
Thank you very much. So please answer.
As far as corruption is concerned, sir, we receive reports from all walks. We receive our reports, whether it's a walk-in, we receive our reports even from the media, we receive our reports within all avenues. And therefore, at this point, I can neither confirm nor deny that we have a case here in Botswana. Yeah, the plain is you understand.
Just hold on.
Yes.
You know, we have encountered institutions that conceal a lot of information because of the acts, either Intelligence Act, Corruption Act. Does this augur well for the transparency that this country just talks about a lot?
It does. It's a chicken and egg situation. There are areas where you, as an anti-corruption specialist, you would be not in a position to disclose what you are doing.
You are
Primarily,
still on the floor, sir.
yes. Primarily because our act borders on issues of violation of human rights. These are allegations that, well, majority of the times are not proven. You have to investigate in order to prove that somebody has a case to answer. So if you were to release some of this information or these allegations prematurely, obviously it impacts on personal issues. And
Just hold it. But sometimes when you are not required to mention names, for instance, a question that says, are you investigating any senior DIS official? Do you think that would be a problem? Would that offend the Act? A question that says, are you investigating any matter with Botswana? Does that offend anyone? Does that impinge on the rights of any individual?
under normal circumstances, no. But the honourable member, prior to asking the question, highlighted a background of the information that he's talking about. So obviously, hela how we lo hore nya go na le issue ya gore docket ya gore ebe o mpotsa o le honourable member a me o na le case ya a senior officer go DIS.
Then there
It's
could be a link
obvious.
you are saying,
There's a
right?
link.
Yeah.
It's obvious.
Go ahead, sir.
What about the aircrafts one? What is the link to who there?
Are you dealing with any case that involves Air Botswana as we speak?
As we speak, yes. Let me just be open. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay? You can go ahead, sir.
How far is the case? When are you handing the document to DPP?
Investigations are quite complex, especially those of corruption. They are complex, and at this point in time, I would not have the exact timelines or turnaround times for this particular case. But we have, established teams to ensure that we deal with our investigation in a timely fashion. So that is as far as I can share with you, Honourable Member.
Thank you. You can go ahead, sir.
It is open secret knowledge that DIS has interfered with a water project, and it was taken from one contractor and handed to another contractor. You have been handling the case for the past 4 years. Have you finished the case? Have you handed the case to DPP? We are being responsive and we want to keep momentum.
At this point, Honourable Member, I'm aware of the case, and we have concluded the investigations, and we have so far presented it to DPP for possible advice and possible prosecution.
Lifestyle audit. There is a former worker, WAWAC, Water Utilities Corporation, who has now joined the government service and is owning property here, lady farm and we believe you have done a lifestyle audit how far is the handing over of the docket to DPP, and how many lifestyle audit cases have you concluded and handed over to DPP?
I'm going to go back to the issue, Honourable Member. I'm not going to discuss operational matters, particularly where you even state individuals. And therefore, I can answer that we have to date 28 high-profile cases that we are dealing with, particularly using or utilizing Section 34, that is the lifestyle audit section.
Okay.
And none of them have been concluded.
Not yet.
How long have you been handling the cases?
We started this last year, towards the end of the year, around November.
It must be end of last year or early this year when media publications banemba ntsha di report tsa gore GIS operational funds di dirisitswe ke PS le kgaitsadie ba le ko Durban ba le mo metsing mo lewateng ga le bone go le botlhokwa gore le ka investigator tshenyetso setšhaba eo ga e le gore go ntse jalo le gore a la investigator le tsamaya kae ga e le gore la investigator
Ke a go boa ke ipoeletsa gape, honorable member. I am not going to discuss operational matters. If we have received or if we have the case, I'm not in a position to disclose case individuals. Tota ke kopa gore ke ska ga gogela on the operational matters, because I'm going to end up now just confining myself to Section 44 of the Corruption and Economic Crime Act.
Let me just help. Are you handling any cases, or how many cases involving the GIS? This one is not touching on anybody's name or identity. Are you handling any cases, and how many cases involving the GIS?
We are handling cases involving a lot of offices, including the DIS. And from the top of my head, there are close to four cases.
Thank you.
Yes.
Go ahead, sir.
The DIS Director General is on oath, and it's public knowledge for DIS is running a business, hotel, ko Tautona Farm, which has not been declared to the Accountant General, Ghana Ministry of Finance, and are using their coffers, the money, for their own use. Under your processes, would that be a case eligible for investigation?
Under the circumstances, our Act caters for different offenses. First and foremost, we investigate corruption. We investigate fiscal laws, contravention of fiscal laws of the country, that is economic crime. And from what you are saying or what you are sharing, Honorable Member, ke dumela gore o mpha report.
You have been handed a report, yes? Can you continue now? Honorable Member, can you continue, please?
But on that one, Chairman, please.
Yes, sir.
Yes, please.
Just quickly, you are still on the floor. I'll give you 2 more questions, and you're done.
Does it mean, accounting officer, does it mean your office has not been aware that DIS has bought the farm Honorable is talking about? And if you are aware, are you further not aware that those that purchase?
Honorable Member, that's information out there in the public domain. I would not say my office is not aware because it's in the public domain. What I am not aware of is whether that constitutes an offense that falls within my mandate. That is why I'm saying Honorable Member is submitting a report to me.
And you'll make a determination as to whether
Yes.
it falls within your purview.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Last two questions, sir.
Thank you. How many cases are you handling that involves senior government officials within DCEC or former DCEC or outside DCEC who are receiving double salaries or have been receiving double salaries from DCEC and, for example, maybe DIS?
At this point, Honorable Member, I don't have a case. Yeah, a high-profile person or receive a double salary either within the DCEC or outside the DCEC. However, we have cases of individuals of high profile. We are handling about 50 cases of high profile individuals, but not necessarily by longer civil double salary, but high profile cases that we are currently handling.
Of the 200 or so?
288.
Okay. So 50 of them are high profile? Yes. Thank you. Last question, sir.
Last question. Tse involving high profile or low profile or middle profile individuals, government workers who batsenyeditswe security devices, let's say CCTV for example, ki DIS, or in other words, can it happen gore mo lephateng la gago la DCEC you have wena as a Director General o tsenyetswa CCTV cameras ki DIS rather than DCEC?
Thank you, Honorable Member. Issues security, when you are generalizing the issues of security within the government enclave. There are certain categories of people who are offered the security mechanisms, whether it is CCTV or security guards at certain level. And when you talk about within the DCEC, we have our own, we do our own security establishment, or we set up our own securities. So you are maybe restricting my response to saying we, at this point, we don't. Honorable Member, when we do investigations, there are certain areas the security risk in there. At that time, we can make a determination either policy kana DIS by offer provider security to whoever or their security is under threat. That has happened before.
So currently, you are not being provided security by DIS, you are saying?
No.
Okay.
But if one may make a follow-up on that one, did DIS, or not necessarily DIS, the former Director General, security hana nothing, including CCTV. Who was manning the security? Who was not necessarily manning the security, but paying for the cost of the security? Was it DCEC as a departmental mohoyone or DIS? If it was DIS, isn't that pointing to the direction of double DP, which can go to a long extent of having two salaries?
You are referring to, Honorable Member, you are referring to security, you are referring to salary. Can we maybe, when I provide the answer, can I restrict myself to the security as you've stated? Because you are referring to former Director General, whether he or she was provided security by the DIS, and if so, why? As I've highlighted in my executive summary, honorable members, there have been more than 7 Director Generals. Maybe none of the Director Generals ba offerwa security ke DIS. The Director Generals ba offerwa security ke DCEC. It's paid for by the DCEC.
Thank you so much.
I hope I'm clear.
Honorable Paul Holo.
Thank you, Mudla Stilo. Dumela Makanene. Makena let Putsonyana tse pedi hela. Ke tsa ke o buditswe tse di malwa. Potso ntla ke gore o nnile leng Director General wa DCEC.
Thank you, sir. I assumed office of the Director General on the 18th of September 2023.
Thank you. Morawa o no supa gore go kile ga nna le tlhakatlhakano ka potobekano ko DCEC. Potso ke gore mo tobekanong yone ye le nna ke dumelang gore e nnile teng. Mme ebile wa atlega wa kgona go bona maemo ao despite the instability. Staff bodiredi bontse jang moralo wa bone o ntse jang at this juncture, and what are you doing ha ile gore moralo wa bone o etse tlase go batisa mo seemong sa gore ba kgone go boela mo go direng tiro ka botswapelo?
Thank you, Honorable Member. That's a very, very key and critical question. Currently, when I joined, I found a team in Lohore Tata. It had undergone a lot of trauma. But since I came, we had to resuscitate a lot of structures. We had to ensure that we offer psychosocial support, which we are still doing. We are working on improving the conditions of service of staff, because obviously the morale has to equate to the performance. So we are working around the clock. That is why I was talking about the review of the Corruption and Economic Crime Act. Part of it is to ensure that we are independent. We have our own conditions of service. We are governed by our act.
Tlhakatlhakano e nnileng teng ye o e supileng e amile go le kae boleng jwa tiro e neng e dirwa o e dirwang ke bone babereki ba DCEC?
This instability had a negative impact on the performance or the output, yeah, the officer, it's DCEC. Because as I've said, a lot of structures had collapsed. So we are working on improving those structures. Because kana ba direla puso ba ba leng teng ko officing ya me ke batho ba e leng gore ba itse tiro. So all we need to do is to just ensure that we offer a conducive environment for them to perform. Ke yone issue e leng gore ke itebagantse le yone mo bogompienong le office ya me.
Office ya ga mosireletsi e supa ga go kile ga nna le dikgang dingwe gapele ga bone mo ngwageng ye re tsentseng leitlho gore a wa itse ka dikgang tsa go nna yalo mme ebile mo nakong ya gompieko a dikgang tseo di santse di le teng a di oketsegile ka ponne la kgona tsone tsele ga gona dipegape tse di leng teng ko ntle kgatlhanong le nyena.
Thank you, Honorable Member. I'm aware of 2 cases that were referred to the Office of the Ombudsman. And we've already dealt with one of them. We cleared it. Rebakan's issue thing, that agreement that the Rebakan's. We are, however, left with one. In
terms of the record of the Office of the Ombudsman, there were actually 3 cases. And from 2021, you admit that there is one still outstanding.
Yes.
Would you care to share with this committee the reasons why it's outstanding? Because the Ombudsman has stated or the MDAs either refuse or ignore his recommendations. And mind you, Rona, where we stand, Harebone files and desk and tables, and we see human beings. So if an issue that has been reported in 2021 is still outstanding and another you cannot even trace, what are you going to do between now and the next examination to improve on this? Because, like I say, it cannot be condoned going forward.
Thank you, Honorable. The one that I said is still outstanding. We are working on it. We've had several meetings with the Office of the Ombudsman. However, it's an issue that our officer, Ona feel aggrieved by an office in the thing at some point. So it's 3 offices. We are now dealing with 2 offices. It's not only the DCEC and the Ombudsman. It's now the DCEC, the Ombudsman, and this office that we had seconded the officer to. That is why maybe it's taking a bit of time. But honorable.
I hope you're not passing on the baton. You'll deal with the matter in your office.
Honorable. I'll deal with it. Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Chair.
Thank you very much. Honorable Poloholo, you've been very brief. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You talked about instability at DCEC. I would like you to elaborate a bit and also touch on the review of the Act. Maybe give us some key issues that the review seeks to address with regards to the tenure of the Director General. It appears there is no legal protection of the tenure of the Director General. How does this lack of legal protection for the tenure of the Director General impact effectiveness of the DCEC? That's the question.
Thank you, Honorable Member. The instability ko DCEC I would just maybe share that it was in the public domain for starters, but we are aware that there were times when the former or previous Director Generals would find their offices locked, would find their offices tampered with in their absence. There were a lot of, I would not say arrests per se, but there were a lot of interviews, there were a lot of, there was just commotion on a daily basis. Files were collected or even recouped from the offices. So that is what I refer to as the instability.
Collected by who?
By the GIS. Yes, sir.
Oh, kila ka diragala.
Then,
Kila ka diragala in your 2-3 years as DG.
no, sir.
Gore bape ba leke go tsenya seemo se sentse yalo sa.
Yes, yeah. The minute I assumed office, one of my focus was to engage my counterpart because I believe an officer complement that. So we discussed, we agreed on the parameters of our operations and our mandates, and it has been like that ever since.
Second question out of 4. What specific, you mentioned Hore, Lena Lebarute recently, but what specific specialized skill sets does the DCEC prioritize when recruiting personnel? And how does it plan to address the need for more investigators, and how many investigators actually do you have? But more especially, labor's skills in specialized skill sets.
Thank you very much. We are open to all skill sets, all qualifications, especially when it comes to investigations. And so far, we have about 68 investigators. And mind you, I've shared the number of cases or our caseload. So out of the 68 investigators, our caseload is very high. We each has a caseload of about 23 cases. And internationally, our best practices dictates that about 10 cases at the most, between 8 and 10 cases. So there is a need for us to increase our staff. When it comes to specialized skills, such as forensics, such as accounting, such as, even right now when we are looking at issues of digitalization, we still need to further capacitate our staff. That is still in need.
What would be their success stories? Or the nation is or nyame DCEC generally sales. You mentioned 424 reports were deemed not relevant to your mandate. What criteria or process does the Directorate use to classify reports of allegations of corruption and economic crime? Relevant to us, and what happens to those reports?
Thank you. Maybe let me just start with the criteria, the process of classification. When we receive a report, it's submitted to what we call our assessment center. Our assessment center ensures that all information is completed. We then have what we call a panel. A panel consists of about 7 or 8 individuals within the office leading the different groups, where we sit and discuss this report, looking at it within the mandate of the office, whether the report falls within the remits of our act. If it does not, we refer it to the relevant authorities. Majority of the times, what we've realized is that people report issues that are maladministration, for instance. The issues the civil matters, for instance. So under those circumstances, if an issue is maladministration, we would refer it to the accounting officer. We need to understand Botswana need to understand what accounting officers, it is their responsibility as well to prevent corruption. Issues of maladministration, di perpetuate so that is what we do. We refer the matters to our accounting officers. And within the ministries, as I've already highlighted, what we call anti-corruption units and corruption prevention committees. They make sure we mainstream anti-corruption mechanisms within the ministry. So Harry refer to the accounting officer. They would ordinarily engage their anti-corruption unit to look into it, so that it's a recommendation, it's a administrative action, it's a then what are the success stories of the DCEC? Our vision, honorable members, is it's a lofty vision, I know, but if, in all honesty, each and every one of us, who make you sure everybody is held accountable, some of these issues would not occur. We also would like to see DCEC turnaround time, the KC is swift. Right now, our turnaround time is way too long. For highly complex cases, for instance, we've set ourselves 2 years.
Success story. What are the highlights of cases? Your success stories is only but in the past, the public. We tell publicans DCEC DIS.
Yeah, me, the nearest one, previously, where the former PSP was convicted for corruption. That was a case emanating from our office. Even we know that there is a the 60 million were NPF, the court gave us a reprieve, the 60 million for the assets. That is one of our success stories. But we also pride ourselves in even let's say tse leng gore di ka tswa di sa itsewe kana di le ko tlase.
Thank you very much.
Crime, I think proceeds of crime. The total say, this you are guy go hello.
These process had restrain this were the office of the receiver. Until case hela. If the case or the office secures conviction, they are confiscated to the state. Law and Madia are confiscated to the state.
Thank you very much, Honorable Monageng. Honorable Mtausani.
Thank you, sir. Madam Magigeneni, out of the 50 high-profile cases that you mentioned, how many cases involves politicians?
About 7.
About 7?
Yes.
How many involves civil servants?
I would have to check because majority of these are civil servants, but I would not have the specific number where we are, but I'm certainly aware of the politicians.
Thank you very much. How many of these cases involve tenders? Procurement. How many of them involve procurement?
Close to 95%, Honourable Member.
95% involve tenders.
Procurement.
Or procurement.
Procurement broadly. Yes.
And if you were to give us just some highlights, which ministries would you say are involved a lot more cases in
for this, for the year 2024, we decided to demarcate or prorate the statistics sarona. Relevance the ministry ka go harologa. And we've come to note that these ministries leha go iragala gore be di case di le dintsi mo go rona ka bone is because of their reach. When you look at Ministry of Local Government, for instance, a lot of cases di ta go rona because ba gongwe le gongwe ke bone ba ileng gore they are the grassroots. So I would state gore so far mo gore na re bone le bone ba local government.
Okay. Have ya staff good gore ga ona enough staff le nna ke belaela gore a di case di nna le bakana gore ga ona staff se se lekaneng ke tsa gore you are working on that. Have you ever investigated any of your staff members? You have had cases di tswa mo ofising ya gago? Oh, thank you. Lastly, when
can I maybe expand a bit on that? There are officers, one or two, by investigate, but where we are, there's even one at court, a court case, issue in the law and they are
I'm glad at least le ba go aba bona ka re utlwe di kgang mo dipheo me gona le entshwentseng ona re mona ge o ibuditse mme a ke itse ra o beile aka ne ke batla go e utlwa kganye ya ga the receiver just recently go ne go lebega ile gore one of the people ba neng ba sekisiwa ka dithuto tsa the case ya MPF utlwa le gore ya nong court ya re le neele motho ga ke tsora ne re di profit tsa di interest tsa madi a ga go a tswaletseng ko kana eng. How do you relate this to losing the cases? If somebody has lost the case, maybe ne dilo tsa go di tshutse le bakanyana e be go te anong kgotlatshekelo e re anong anelwe di interest tsa tsa madi a ntseng a le ko go tsalwa ke eng go raeng bogolo yang go raeng mo tirong ya gago kore your efforts that you have put o le ka go investigate a case bo e ya ko prosecution e be le gore case ya hela mme gone o e wina mme be go te o le kana anong le ntse le tshotse dithuto tsa gagwe gongwe e tlhalose ka gore as a lay person in terms of dio tsa molao ga nka ke ka tlhaloganya gore go iragala e re tsieditsela re le bantsi
Me, it's going to be a bit difficult because it's an issue where it's still before the courts. However, when we do our investigations and we restrain whatever properties that are under your possession, if the court determines that these particular properties has the proceeds, and therefore you need to reverse back to the owner. How do you say the owner? Then we go nali issue your interest. It's an issue essentially happy re latswa bobe kana re seng
ke utlwile gongwe re tla e botsa ba bangwe ba lebaganeng gore ke belela seng mo go yone gore ha ile gore the law permits you to investigate anybody.
Yes.
O ile gore le belela gore dithuto tsa di tshotsweng ke tse a sa di bonang ka ha molao but ya no ha ile gore me anong hale ibile go ne le setse le supa gore nya me ha ke bo maruri o na sentse be go nna le tse go teng yanong I think we need to look at that when your act needs it, because you need to be protected as well by the investigate. And now, to me, I don't think it's correct. But finally, no buaka living beyond means. Kana re tsere botata ra bona hela bana ba lona ba le bantsi e semba o sia ga wa kere bana ba lona ke ra bo direla puso o itlhela motho ele a junior officer at say C2 scale, C1 scale. O itlhela motho ele gore ha o rotswa hana is staying ko phakalane mo 6 bedroom the house everything se wena mama gegene no sa khone go se dira mme bile gape o tswa le baka le o bereka o sa khone ena ana le bo 3-4 years hela ka gore mo le phate le rile aba khona go ne. How do you determine gore yo o le ga tsela botshelo bo bo hitile nengena kana le tela la gore gonne le mongwe le lo mantse gore ke belela gore mothaka o le o tshwantsa ba tshela beyond his means gore e ke batla tlhatswega gore Batswana ko ntle kwane ba tle ba itse gore ba tshwantse go reporta dikgang tse ha ba bona motho ikete ano nyene ga se ba motho a itse. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Indeed, it's a concern for not only for you, honorable members, but even for us. The issues that and that is why we've resorted to conducting the lifestyle audits. The lifestyle audits, we do them in 2 ways. Re receive the report. Gore motho re suspecta gore so and so is living beyond means because only 1, 2, 3. Le rona we have our office here intelligence it carries out own developments ba khona go lebelela le bone bo ba retela aba sona ba sniffer gore nyame this person's known source of income le the lifestyle that this person is living are not comparable.
Thank you very much, Ram Tausani. A few questions.
I'll say.
Kita simula ko ditsa go ne go wena Mtausani ino ke disala mara. Honorable Mtausani. Ya ntlha go supagala gore gona le 50 high profile cases.
Yes, sir.
And motho ka botsa gore tsone di high profile cases di categorize jang ke tse di reng tsa madi a mantsi kgotsa ke tsa batho ba ba lebegang ba na le maemo kgotsa
Thank you very much. The categories they differ us. Gona le ya gore be involve madi a mantsi. We have our ceiling is it 5 million? 5 million and above. Me gape gona le gore be re dirisa the FATF recommendations. You would recall that gona le batho ba re ba bitsang politically exposed or political influential people ba ileng gore go teng go stateile gore these are high profile category of people le re irisa ka tselentseng yalo. So those are the two areas where we determine the category ya case.
okay. So 50 o tsaya the category ya politically exposed persons. Ke ba mo teng. Okay, and re bua ka gore re motao se nna botsa gore mapolitiki ba kae no re ba 7.
Ba 7 sir.
So 7. Me e kana a o ngwa ke bone batho ba kgona go dira corruption ka gore ba hold office. Me ke re 7 yo wa ka nyore ke ra ka re nna ro themo Botswana. Gore re palo ya 7 e supa tota gore me e ka nna yone tota go tsa go ka tsogona le ba le bantsi go tsa re bantsi ba re ka tswang gongwe le ise le ra tumele ra ke di bile 7 hela
le ka tswele le bantsi se but me kana go gakologelwe gore mapolitiki a mantsi in comparison to civil servants. So re lebeletse gone gore the 7 that we are looking at, it's a representative of less than 10%. Yeah, the politicians.
Ma politiki ya ka hetsa re bua ka ma politiki gompieno. Are they politicians who are currently serving or those who are? I'm just asking. I'm an innocent man. No, I'm asking, and it's not a joke. Can't you go? Ma politiki I investigate you. Ke ba ba tseba le mo officing go tsa ke ba ba gwele.
Both.
Bone ba ba 7.
Both. It covers both.
Ba mo teng both. No pelo a me
Have to.
Pelo a me 8,000.
8,000.
Go na le ba 28 ba di lifestyle audits. Ke tsamela gape go ena re 1000 gore la re 28 hela ke yone le setse morago mo di lifestyle audits. Wa khotswahala gore me tota le go rogile sente mo dipalong 28.
I'm looking at the number of cases that we've instigated. Kana ke bua ka less than 12 months. So if I were to maybe ke gogola all along tse dingwe se le tsa ba ba kota se ba ne go ntse go ira di lifestyle audit, it would be more than that, but I'm focusing on the critical and high profile.
More than 28 and approximately palo tse di kae?
Approximately, honorable member, gongwe re ka lebella bo 50, bo 60. Mehela, I need to be very, very careful in disclosing. Ghana the statistics, you have to be certain of what you're talking about, not
wa belela. Mo di case in tsone tse 50s. Ke di hitse di hetseng yanong di gorogile ko staging sa go di handle di DPP for prosecution.
As I think earlier on, Honorable Kekwanegile raised a similar question. These are still under active investigation, and I would not state for a Zekana is deal ready for submission to DPP.
Yeah, we Pitaka section 44.
No, I'm not. I'm not, honestly.
kore ya nna ka re di-case or di-50 ko wena o builego
Er.
yaanong ka re mo go 50 yo ke dihe tse di gorogileng ko DPP. I'm not even saying ya semama le ya semama di gorogile ka re mo 15 yo ke di kahe. I just want you to state the number. Palo hela. Ile ke koporo ska ipitsa ka section ele.
Honorable Member, I said these are active investigation cases. Active means they are still within our office.
Kore 50 yo ha ise a goroge ko
DPP.
ha ise a goroge.
Nnyaa.
Ne rena le DPP gone ha.
Er.
Me ke a tshwenyega ha ile 50 yo theo. Yo theo ha ise a goroge ke a tshwenyega. And I want to register my concern. Ne rena le ba DPP gone ha. Ba bua gore bana le di-case di le 6,000 tse di mo backlog ka ke bone ba le direlang prosecution a bona gore 50 o ta bona the light of the day, or you have a special dispensation lona le tsena.
Maybe let me just revert back to my submission or my executive summary, Honorable Member. These are 50 high-profile cases. We have over 1,000 cases, and I've already shared what we submitted to DPP, a number of cases that have been submitted.
I'm on
But
50.
these are new and active investigation cases.
It's
If you can look into my executive summary, I've shared what the case di kae tse kana di active.
No, I'm not there. I'm at 50. Nna ke mo go 50 yo gore a mme o ta bona the light of the day e le gore kwa DPP we are talking about backlog ya 6,000 ka re a tse tsone tse di ta bona phata tse kana ke tsone tse di ta hela di tsere go 4-5 years bosupi bo bonyelela
Ke dumela gore di ta bona phata se we've established or set up a structure between us and DPP for them to expedite whatever cases that we submit to them. Ra kopana on a quarterly basis. The last meeting we had nearly come March here. So bone ba malala utswe they'll do them.
okay
Ke dumela yalo.
lona ga le na di power tsa go prosecute akere
Currently we don't. We
a
don't
mme ha
have
le bua ka
powers.
review ga la ka gore gongwe le tsone nne ngwe tse di ka review di kgantsone tse gore le nne di power tsa go prosecute.
When you raised that, I think Honorable Monageng earlier on or maybe we need to expand a bit more on the issue review of the act. Part of one of the considerations we should be able to prosecute. But megana mo Botswana ma DPP, Director DPP, the preserve or the prerogative whole prosecutor. She is the she is the person or delegate the responsibility whole prosecutor. So we, as part of our review, what is it that we can do? Is it possible for the powers to prosecute? That is within the bill as I speak. It's part of the bill, the reporting structure. For the time the Director General are independent, whatever report a kaija.
No, we are 95% ya di kgantse le di sekasekang gore ka tswa go dira hetse senyo tsa tshaba bontsi ya tsone di ama procurement di ama procurement mine ke go di kgang re ne re di bua go parlamenteng mo le bakeng le tse di bidiwa go tekisa development managers a di kile la tsenya litho mo di kganyeng tse mo di tenderang tse tsa development manager.
Yes, sir. We have some cases that we are dealing with the DM model. Yeah.
If you can appraise me just of the number, not the names.
There are about 8 cases.
About 8 cases.
About
8.
about
About 8.
about
Just hold. Honorable Thousand seem to be concerned about something. What is it?
Oh, yeah, the emphasize the about. Yeah, no, I do issue. They emphasize Kanya about. Akira Kanta, also, they have precisely a
Yeah, are you okay?
I'm okay. I was just
If you're okay,
sensitizing you ka wana gore ska re kela re ne ke tere o really adamantly 8 are about it can be plus or minus again.
I think I understand that.
Yeah, thank you.
I remember. I get tlhaloganya about you. Tlhaloganya about.
But on a meche, can't the answer be specific? Why should it be about? If it's 8, it's 8. If it's 9, it's 9. Can't it be specific so that we try and record specific answers?
Why can't it be specific? He's asking.
Honorable Member, Limpa Mukone, the statistics. I've stated categorically that with statistics you need to be sure of or to be precise. I can't come here with this is a certain number, what I'm not sure about.
You accept about.
Hey, please.
You accept about 8.
Thank you.
8.
Che, ke en re sa re atise specific dipalo ko morago ya ka re tere direka ba bangwe ra gore ha ile gore mo go ene ke about mo go ba bangwe ke specific ke re sa re atise dipalo ko morago to secretariat.
Hey, I get mathata le yone eo. A mme o ka kgona go tisa specific figures to the secretariat.
Erra.
Ha ke na mathata le yone honorable.
But please note that we are going to give you a number and please do not expect details.
No names.
All right.
Just a number.
Okay.
A me one development manager model. Hone forum ya sia go report. Milgale it's a queue from honorable ke kgonegile o kila reporting. Ke re report ya me general ke gore di sekasekeng tsotlhe tsa development manager go le kana la bona sengwe mo teng. Ke agree yo ke report ya.
I accept the report, Honorable Member.
Public Procurement Act. Isupa gore accounting officers halega ke la tendera lona. Mi supa gore ma politiki president o ka tender public tenders. Vice president o ka tender, minister o ka tender, mo parliament o ka tender. O le ba yang semos. Agere lona ga tse la tender. Mi rona ma politiki ga tender. O le ba yang semos. A bona go mo this provision tsa Public Procurement Act DCEC
Well, these provisions of the Public Procurement Act, they are there to guard against those of us who are in office or ra amasa wealth illicitly. Maybe there's a need, the reason why when a lot of our cases deal on procurement is primarily because of the inadequacies of Melao, including the Public Procurement Act. The Ministry of Finance is currently looking into me you can engage in procurement. I would not be in a position to say create the opportunity where I am. We are looking at the officials, mostly officials. Not honorable. How little political join office? Hali let's say now mod office, you become a minister, you obviously have to recuse yourself or also more the campaigns or let's on. Me rona re lebeletse gore aha ho tendariwa letsogo la go le bokgakala bokae o le politiki
a ngwe ke influence ela maemo a ke rona le maemo o le politiki o ka no a dirisa influence ya maemo gore o bone favorable consideration.
That is true, but make la lebala gore the powers or the authority is the accounting officer. He or she has the power to award or not to award.
Ora PS o ka gana kontraka ya president ha eta e tendering a itse gore ke ya president ha se go mo is career threatening. Is it not career threatening?
Ongwe chairman ke kopa.
I'm still focused on this one. I'm still with you. Sorry, Honorable. Permanent Secretary Ugahana, company president. Is it not career threatening?
Honorable member, only did some issue. Even if the whoever, the politician, who submit a tender, they have to be followed, irrespective. So, how there is where the problem is.
Already session. New it already me happens ke wa kanyetsa hantsong karabaja. Le ga are togele. Re hela go ya anti-corruption officers. Baba mo di ministry. Na batho ba le ba hirile go tsa ba ko ba diola ke di ministry tseo go tsa go dirala ne ke o ba ntlhalosetsa hela ka kete ke bone batho go te ba di ministry ke ba ba dilale issues of corruption.
Anti-corruption officers in the anti-corruption units ke ba hirilweng ke maphata kana ke di ministry.
Ke di ministry tseo
ba iphiretse batho bao.
One of the
no, harana barona baba ko di ministry. Part of our review of the act, how do we link structurally with these anti-corruption units? The mandate warona bao diragatsa.
Thank you. Hello,
Yes.
DG
se
corruption e phuthamise mahatse a mantsi maybe le bo mahatse a mangwe go ithola ile gore corruption e tla ba dira ke mapolitiki le bone ba anti-corruption gape le bone ba le mo corruption corruption e phuthamisa lehatshe se re ka se kopang hela ke gore o hilwe tiro ke ya boikarabelo jo botona tshologelo ya rona ke gore o e dire ka manontlhotlho le mafolofolo. Take the aggressive lane against corruption and save this country from collapse.
Thank you very much, honorable members. Honorable maybe because it is through these engagements that you would be able to facilitate and assist. One, the budgetary constraints, two, the human capital constraints, and other operational constraints that I've already highlighted. So, I will do my best to ensure that things as a chaba collapses la hatsela rona Botswana.
Yaka collapse mahatsama. Me ma mulifi. Mo memorandum of progress. Okay. Up the day.
Let's go to page 1. Are we there? Okay.
Page 1, memorandum of progress.
Dealt with. They've been dealt with. Page 2, dealt with. Page 3 dealt with. Page 4, number 1. Monitor. Close. Should we close it? Label near because now I can't write off. Label.
Yes, we have
Content
confirmed
error.
that you can close.
Okay, close. Then the rest are dealt with. And then page 5. It's a memo. Yeah. Okay, then when statement 2 monitor, unless page 6 monitor, lower table monitor. It's 7 monitor. 8 is cleared. 9, it's cleared. Bottom table, it's bottom table is monitor and clear. The other one. Page 10, cleared.
Cleared.
And the bottom table is also cleared.
Accountant General?
Yes, page 9. Offset, the offset from BRS. We would need a proof of offset from BRS. Yes.
What about it?
We need a proof of offset because
It's
according
monitor.
yes, it's monitor, but we need them to submit proof.
Yeah.
Page 10. Page 11. It's clear. The top table. The middle table is memo. The last table is cleared. And then
Cleared and then closed.
oh, it's closed, please. Close and close. And then page 12. Monitor the first one. I think you close 3. They're all monitors, are they not? Huh? Yeah, they're all monitor.
What about 5 is cleared?
Ma?
5.
How come it has a... Oh, okay. Okay, you close 5. The rest are monitor. Warranted provision, we monitor. Done. Over to you, Chair.
We can go to the response to the auditor.
Better.
Auditor. Okay. Okay.
We are done, Honorable Chairperson.
Okay.
Monitor.
No, I want us to engage further.
Engage further over tea. Motivate
Sorry, Chair. You were saying?
I was saying, I didn't hear, you were saying memo on page 5. You were too fast.
Page 5, yeah.
Page 5 of the Auditor General, the one that is talking about the system error. Page 5, the top one for 1020. Though they have a balance there, that they brought a sub-ledger that is showing that it's a zero balance. Indeed, it's a zero balance. It was cleared. It was a
Oh, I
system
thought I
error.
said we have closed it.
Yeah, the problem is they have put a balance there, at the closing balance. You said close or memo?
So what is your advice there?
Is to close it.
Is to close it?
Yes.
Okay.
Which one are Mogoros?
Number one, Kibule Alfred,
Page one.
page 5.
Page 5.
Oh, okay. So it's closed.
Yes,
No, it had a balance, so.
That's
All right.
why.
You said memo because it has a balance.
Yes.
But they are talking about a subledger that
Okay,
suggests otherwise.
okay.
Thank you.
Close.
Thank you so much. It has been a long day. 3 long days, very long Friday. Rabuile, accounting officer and finance controller. Re lebogetse gore le boletsile hano ebile go tsile lona beng ba office tota. Re leboga jalo ebile ra dumela gore mo nako e tang go tana go ta lona beng ba office ka gore tota ha gongwe go ta ba le tshwareletseng o ithela ba sena gore ba ka bua dikgang tse dingwe jaaka le di bua ba itshomarelanyana jaanong mme dikgang tse di builweng ha ke mapalamente o di utule ke tsaya gore o tio go di sala morago ebile ka gore o ne o re kaela gore o ka re go kgorelediwa mo le mone go ete go dirwe go iwa ko di-officing tsa lona go dirwa tse di sa tshwanelang wa re o kae go eme a kere go eme ee ga e le gore go eme go raya gore yaanong ga ko kwa nna le excuse epe ya gore ke o sa dire tiro a ke re nako ele ba bangwe nne ba kana ba re mathata kore kana a re berekisiwe sente wena yaanong o berekisiwa sente mme ebile gape wa bona gore corruption ya rona ya ko godimo go ta raya gore go bereke thata ke leboga thata batho. Thank you very much. Enjoy your weekend. Parliamente no weekend go rata go lebalela Monday again. Lebalela dibuka tsa Monday. There are 3 on Monday as well, right? There are 3 on Monday. I guess there's prisons. You remember prisons? They are coming on Monday.
DPSM and BDF.
Monday, prisons, DPSM,
BDF.
and BDF. So, thank you very much.
Good.